Okay, well, let's get started. Hello and welcome everyone to this innovation webinar. Today, we would like to talk to you about some innovations that we were working on in 2025, as well as giving you a preview of what's coming next year. My name is Christoph Schuler. I'm the General Manager for Theobald Software based in our US office in Seattle. And joining me today in this webinar is Michael, our CTO. I will let him give a brief introduction.
Hey, everybody. Welcome from my side as well. As Christoph said, I'm Michael, CTO of Theobald Software. Happy to talk about some of the innovations we had this year and what's coming up next year.
Great. So let's jump right in. We have a very simple agenda today. It's really just about looking back at 2025 and then also looking ahead at what's coming next year. So let's start with some highlights from 2025. It's been quite a busy year at Theobald Software. And what we would like to do over the next 15-20 minutes is just to give you some insights into some of the important themes, some of the important innovations that we've been working on. You see them listed here on the slide, and we'll walk through them one by one and talk a little bit about what it means for our customers, how you could take advantage of some of these features, and how you can work with us to take advantage of these innovations. So the first topic I'd like to touch on is our work that we've done around Microsoft Fabric mirroring. This has been a completely new integration that we launched last year, and we've seen quite a good amount of customer interest, customers that wanted to replicate SAP data into the Microsoft Fabric environment. I'll touch a little bit on how that works and what that means for customers. One thing that Microsoft has also launched last year is called the Open Mirroring Framework within Microsoft Fabric. And open mirroring is designed for third-party data providers to enable an automated data synchronization between any kind of data source, really. In our case, it's SAP, of course, and the Fabric environment. This environment, this open mirroring environment, works especially well with change data capture. If you have a solution that can identify changes in a source system and then replicate that into mirroring, you can enable almost near real-time data synchronization with your source system. With our Extract Universal solution, we have made some modifications to the table CDC component, as well as the table component. These are some of the main extraction components that customers use today to optimize them for integration with the Fabric open mirroring environment. And by doing so, basically the way it works is we identify the changes from the SAP system. We then copy the data into what Microsoft calls a landing zone in the right format, so Microsoft Fabric can automatically process the data and merge it into existing tables and data sets. And that's really the main advantage. So you don't have to write any scripts or notebooks yourself to handle this change data. Microsoft Open Mirroring does that for you. So that really eliminates the need for complex ETL pipelines. It reduces your time and effort to keep the data in sync with your SAP system. Okay, so that was just a brief review about mirroring. We will now move on to the next topic around SAP reports. We've also made some nice improvements in that area. And Michael, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what we've done here?
Yeah, SAP reports is an important topic. We hear that a lot from customers that they use reports and want to use reports to work on those reports in a structured way. So it is kind of structured data, but is shipped in a format which is more a textual representation of the structured format. and we enhanced at the beginning of the year the functionality with nice UI support that you can load such a report, that you can work with the report in a kind of designer mode to capture what should be rows, what should be columns, sorry, and what should be rows that you may want to transform into a column in the result structure, so that you can do queries on where conditions and stuff like that. So there is an automatic column detection. You can remove some headers and stuff like that. So many different features have been added there, so that whatever complex reports that you have that are not, where the data that way does not exist in a database or in any view within the SAP system, because it's probably aggregated by using ABAP code logic, and such reports are now easily accessible in a structured way, so that you can continue working on it, use it for reporting and whatever. So great enhancements, and we get great feedback from customers on that.
Yeah, I think report is one of the more popular components in our tool set. Customers really like this feature. And one question I often get is, does it work for standard reports, but also custom developed reports? And so we do support both.
Yep.
Good. That's a nice enhancement for our report component. The next topic we want to touch on is the ODP note. That has also created lots of questions from customers and partners alike last year. We addressed this directly with customers, but we also published a blog article about this. And I just want to summarize a few more points about the ODP note. The ODP note basically is a note that SAP has published, and actually we re-edited a few times and over the course of last year. SAP with the ODP note has prohibited the use of the ODP framework. ODP stands for Operational Data Provisioning, over the RFC modules. So they're very clearly saying customers as well as third-party providers are no longer permitted to use this interface. So what are the alternatives? In our tool set, for those of you who have worked with Extract Universal and some of our other extract tools, we have a suite of different extraction components. In Extract Universal, there's a total of 12 different components now, and only one of them really utilizes the ODP RFC interface that has been restricted with the ODP note. So we offer alternatives. We offer many different ways for customers to operate in an SAP compliant manner by using one of the other components. And that includes some of our main components, including the table component, which offers table data extraction via RFC. So that's fast and reliable for large data volumes. Similarly, our table CDC component also works over the RFC protocol, which makes it very efficient. You can pull only the data that has changed from SAP. For ODP, if you still like the idea of using the ODP framework, we have added the OData protocol. SAP is very explicit in the note to state that it is permitted to pull data over the OData protocol. It's just not permitted over the RFC protocol. So that is another alternative if you really like working with the ODP framework and the source object that it exposes. We've also added the capability to really pull data from any type of OData service. This also includes SAP public environments. And that's an important step also towards our clean core compatibility. We have another slide on that a little bit later on, where we will talk about our efforts to be SAP Clean Core compatible. CDS views, also we have another slide on that later on talk more about that, but that's becoming a more and more important data source type in SAP systems for customers, especially for customers that have already migrated to S/4HANA. And we do support that today, and that is also not impacted by the ODP note. Similarly, SAP reports that Michael just showed that we enhanced with more capabilities to parse the data is also not impacted by this ODP note. So we have a suite of different ways to operate in an SAP compliant manner without being impacted by the note. And we continue to expand these capabilities depending on how SAP evolves, but also, of course, based on your requirements.
Yeah, cool and important topic, I think, throughout the whole year, this ODP topic.
Absolutely, yeah. Good. So let's move on to the next topic, Extract Core.
Yeah.
Michael, do you want to touch on that briefly?
Yeah, another milestone that we started in the beginning of the year, more or less. We had their requirements coming up that we get asked to have beside our ERP Connect, which is an API, a more end-to-end scenario and support product that allows integration of SAP extraction and integration capabilities from the source till the destination, but in a way that it can be integrated into other products. And that's why we launched Extract Core with a REST interface that is allowing to define extractions, that allows to run extractions, but can be full embedded into other products to be able to get in whatever product you want to ship as a ISV partner, for example, to leverage SAP connectivity in there. So we have with a partner UiPath, a great customer and a success story that was very successful and good, and more to come there, I think.
Mm-hmm. A new product, it's exciting and aimed at ISVs, yeah, at software vendors that want to integrate SAP extractions into their own solutions. Okay, our next topic is around CDS views. I briefly touched on it earlier, but CDS views are becoming more and more important, especially for customers that are already on S/4HANA or have started their migration to S/4HANA. Many customers like to use CDS views or like to work with CDS views for data access and replication. That's one of their main purposes. And they can create these CDS views relatively easily with SAP tools, and then they have the ability to access data across several tables, which is often the case in SAP, that the data is distributed across multiple tables. In Extract Universal, or in our Extract Suite, we already offer support for CDS views today. You can pull CDS view data with the table component, and that includes CDS views that are parameterized. So you can use that today. It's part of the current version. We continue to invest in CDS views. One of the features we have planned for this month, which will release by the end of this month, is support for CDS view entities. And so we're continuing to enhance the functionality around CDS views this year and also as we go into next year.
Yeah, I think we will talk a bit about that in the outlook for next year as well. It keeps to be an important topic.
Definitely. Moving on to our AWS partnership. We have a very good partnership with AWS. We've done quite a few activities in 2025 to strengthen that partnership. Here we are working very closely with the global solution architects at AWS, primarily in the analytics, AI, and also in the SAP space, of course. And by doing so, AWS has us now officially and publicly included in their reference architecture. You see the picture here. This is available on the Amazon website for analytics use cases. So we're featured there in the reference architecture. And this is something that the solution architects have actually built out, this type of solution. They've tested it, and we've gotten really good feedback from them around performance, how we scale to larger SAP loads, how we can handle also change data loads, for instance, and then move that into the AWS ecosystem. We have done a couple of webinars also with the AWS team last year that will continue this year as well. We've recently attended the reInvent conference, met with our AWS contacts there, also with customers, of course, that utilize Amazon Web Services, and also partners of AWS. Another important note here is we're in the marketplace already with our solutions. That will also expand to be transactionable next year. And very recently, we've also looked at a very new integration with our products around AI. We have a product that supports MCP type integration. That's the model controller protocol that allows a chatbot or an agent, a chatbot like Amazon Q, for instance, to interact with SAP, both in a read and write fashion. So we have that available as a beta version already, and you can use it to integrate your custom agents with SAP. Okay, that was a little bit about our AWS partnership. Should we move on, Michael, to usage statistics? Yeah.
Usage statistics, also a very important topic. We introduced it at the beginning of the year to get some usage statistic to better understand what are the features that you as our customers are using, to see where does it most make sense to invest into. So it's very valuable feedback for us. But we thought, hey, it's not just important for us, it's also important for all the users that use our Extract Universal tooling. So we added a dashboard into Extract Universal that you see the most important KPIs of that SAP integration interface as well. So you get the performance monitor, you get an overview about the data integration activities that are running with this interface. And most important, you get an understanding of the value add. Not sure, we are at the end of the year. Sometimes discussion came up, hey, what is the value? What is the benefit out of that? This dashboard probably helps you answering those kind of questions as well. How much data you transfer over time, over a period, over the whole year, to understand how much value it really brings into your landscape.
Mm-hmm. Very nice new feature. Yeah. Okay. Our next topic, MCP integration.
Yeah, you already mentioned MCP, also one of the most important enhancements, I would say. If we would have talked a year ago, I guess nobody would have that on their, hey, what's coming up next year? Because around that time, I think it was when this was launched and made available. And maybe the people that launched that thought about it, but it really gets started in Q1 this year, that everybody said, oh, what a great integration. MCP, Model Context Protocol, for those who not know what it is, you can think of it like the USB port on your laptops. You can connect very easily a lot of different devices to your computer, and that is what MCP is for large language models. A large language model is bad in predicting the weather for a specific location because it was not trained for and has only data from the past. But attaching services like a weather service, then such a large language model is able to answer even those questions. And that is where MCP has a really cool adapter. And we thought, oh yeah, that's great for us. It allows us to enable AI agents to work in real time with SAP data and get access to SAP data. And that not just to most recent cloud versions of SAP, but also to older versions, older ECC versions. All those we can add and allow interactions with AI chatbots and AI system using that kind of protocol. We can just retrieve data, we can execute transactions, SAP transactions, automate business processes, and all that. And it saves a lot of time. And at that point, I say, let's have a quick demo and look into that. So for that, let me share my screen. Okay. So what you see here is the base of this. So the MCP feature was added to our product called Unio, while Extract Universal is more for mass data integration of SAP data. Unio is more focused on process integration. So I can create with the Unio product REST services for small SAP data extractions, for SAP transactions that I want to create. And those REST services that can I then add with an MCP service to an chatbot systems. And when having good descriptions for this service, what this service is able to deliver, what are the input and output parameters, this natural language can easily be mapped by a large language model and a chatbot into or matching the prompt and then help answering those questions. Let me quickly show how that could look like. I create just a demo that you see that. I will use a transaction feature for now. Save and edit that. Oh, sorry. And I can now run a transaction. This looks very similar to what you would see in the UI as well. If you log into an SAP UI, and we use this recording just to understand what are your intention to do, what is the customizations you may have specific within your system. And I just go through the steps, what the UI will let. In that case, I'm asking about some material data. And sorry, the system is a German one, even if we are in an English webinar, but never mind. It's not that important that everything is fully understood what is on the screen. And I get the result screen for the material info that I retrieved. I now stop here the recording of that. I have now the different screens available, and for every of this screen, I can now define material number should be an input value, because that should later on be an input for the REST service that I created. So I define it that way. On the next screen, it just asks me which kind of output view I want to have. I keep the default, nothing I want to do from outside. And then on the result screen, I can say, okay, this is the description of my service. I want to have the description of the material as an output service of my REST. I want to have, for example, the weight of the service as an output. I can define it here. I stop here at that. So I can define my service. It is then later on available as a REST service, and I can use that. You see, there are many REST services already defined in the system. So what does that mean if I would now use that within a chatbot? So just an example of what I just did. And what we see here is Copilot Studio from Microsoft, another good partner from us. We do a lot with, similar to AWS. And this is more a development view. This is by intention. It could be later on any other chatbot that you're probably aware of. And I can ask a question, hey, please compare material 100 and 101. That is what just I showed you. Now you see that the tool is checking, oh, I'm asking for materials. I execute here two tools, one checking for material 100, the other checking for material 101. I see the results. I get those information. Sorry, again, the system is German. I get the details of that, and I ask about to compare the materials, and I get, oh yeah, one material it's much heavier than the other one. Okay, so there the result is already interpreted by the large language model. To have an even more interesting use case, I could say, hey, please show me some information about the supplier, easy computer software supplier. You see it identified, oh, I need to use the name so the name of the easy computer software in a where clause condition automatically. We do not tell him that way. It is automatically detected, and I get back from the SAP system the data. I can then next ask, hey, what are material numbers for hard drives in a specific plant that I specified? Again, we see the where clause is automatically created, and I get the resulting data for what kind of hard drives are available in a specific plant. And as Christmas is just in front of us, I want to order some, and I create a purchase order for that, for a specific material. And I hope that this order is now placed in the SAP system. Oh, yes, my order is placed into the system, and I get the feedback on the order. And now I could ask about, hey, please retrieve me this order from the SAP system. Note, I do not ask about a specific order number. Here in the order, there was an order number retrieved. Exactly this is now detected by the LLM, and is placed into another service to retrieve that. And I get back my order from the SAP system with all the details about that. And there's one more that I can show. I say, hey, this was working nice. I want to have another hard drive as well. At this time for a different one, and change some prices for it, and it create me another order for a different hard drive. All the rest is the same as before, and I get even that order number, and the order number ID is different than what we have seen before, and I could continue asking about that. So this is just an example. You may have totally different use cases that you say, oh, that way I think I could interact with the SAP system. It's very easy to get this up and running. You use Unio, you create a few services that are able to retrieve the data. You can have where conditions and whatever not be fixed within the services, but just offer them to the outside to be filled. And then you can use the large language model to help getting those requests done, retrieving the information, aggregating some information, or whatever else you want to do with that. I think there are a lot of different scenarios and use cases available for that. So yeah, that was the quick demo about our MCP integration, and let the complex world of SAP be easily used by AI systems.
Very nice. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. We've seen quite a bit of interest around this integration with agents and chatbots. The features available as a beta right now, exactly what Michael showed. And we look forward to learning more about your use cases, what you have in mind. So let's continue on our journey. We have, I think, one more to go before we jump into next year. Bluetelligence. Bluetelligence was an important acquisition by Theobald Software this year. Bluetelligence is a leading provider of SAP metadata management solutions. And we had a clear goal with this acquisition, which was to provide better and more comprehensive data intelligence to our customers with the combination of SAP data and metadata. And we want to package them as holistic data products that all kinds of use cases can use and support, everything from the business analyst to AI developers, data engineers, really anybody that needs to have not just the SAP data itself, but also an understanding of the SAP data, and what it means and where it's coming from. We see several advantages for our customers, for your organizations, with this combined offering that we have. We can provide deeper insights into your SAP data. We can provide more meaningful descriptions to data, semantics around your SAP data, something we don't have the ability to do. We pretty much, at the moment, bring the data out of SAP and make sure it lands in a destination of your choice as efficiently and as performant as possible. With metadata, we can also support intelligent automation and documentation of data processes. That's something that Bluetelligence is very strong in right now, in particular around BW systems, but also systems like S4HANA, SAC, for instance. And it will improve the accuracy and efficiency of data-driven workflows. And it actually relates to what you just saw in the demo from Michael. As data becomes the foundation, not just for BI workloads, but also for AI-powered innovation and scenarios, the data needs to be enriched, and it needs to be enriched with metadata to help the AI solution and the agent to understand what tool they need to invoke, what API they need to invoke, and then also how to interpret the data when they get it back from the SAP system. So we see a lot of opportunity here for combining metadata with SAP data, and that will be reflected in our future roadmap.
Yeah, very cool. And we see that technology be leveraged next year in a few new products later on.
Great. So with that, we will wrap up our review of the main themes for this year, and we will look ahead into next year. Similarly, we have a pretty full plate already, and we do want to touch on just a few of the main things we have on our roadmap, we have in our minds, we have in our list of priorities that you can expect to see reflected in our solutions this year. The first one I want to touch on is the SAP Clean Core compliance. Clean Core is an important topic for customers so they can continue to take advantage of SAP's innovations. Clean Core is an initiative for SAP to keep the core of the ERP system clean. Any extension should only communicate with the core through approved interfaces and standard interfaces. And so that's why it's also important for us to make sure we continue to offer solutions that are within SAP's guidelines and meet certification requirements. Our approach for SAP integration has always been to be as low touch in SAP as possible. That means we designed our solutions so they would have a minimal footprint in SAP, where we have, just give me 1 second. I need to turn off this call that I'm getting. Okay, sorry about that. As I was saying, our approach to SAP integration has always been to be as low touch as possible, meaning that the amount of customization or code that we require in the SAP system is very small. In fact, we only rely on 3 custom function modules for our table component, for the report component, as well as table CDC. That's in contrast to some other solutions in the market that require an ABAP add-on, for example, to be installed, which usually brings a lot more ABAP code, a lot more custom ABAP code with it. And so that really also helps us in this SAP Clean Core compatibility. SAP currently distinguishes between 4 levels of Clean Core compliance, from level A to D, with D being non-compliant. And our goal is to be compliant with levels B and C. And that's what we're working towards. In fact, our main function module for the table extractor is already compliant, and we're working on the others to achieve that as well at the beginning of next year. So we're very close to our goal here.
Yeah, I think a very important topic. So when we continue, you see that we have four topics highlighted. So why 4 topics? Yep, thanks.
This one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So why 4 topics? I think they all play together. So getting a holistic view of data enables us to do confident decisions, correct decisions. If we just look at a part of our data, we probably take a decision, but it might not be the best one. So to get all together, we need most important SAP data, but also non-SAP data to come together to get this holistic view of our data to take the best decision. But data really becomes, from our opinion, the oil of the future. And their data sovereignty is an essential part of it. And it's not just the place where you have this data, where you store the data. It's more about an end-to-end architecture, a complete data architecture that everybody, from our perspective, need to think about, with loosely coupled components and integration points. This starts with, how do I get the data into my data lake, into my data cloud? Where is this data stored? How is the data stored there? And where and how do I access the data, and what do I do with it? Apache Iceberg, for example, is a very good component, for example, to store the data. As many tools that you want to work with on, is it reporting? Is it prediction? Is it any kind of analytics? Is it any AI that you want to run on this data? More and more of these tools support a patchy iceberg. So that's why I think it's a very important format continuing next year. And if you have a component strategy, an open component strategy of your data, then if an individual component is no longer fitting your expectation, you can just replace that single component without altering your overall strategy. So that gives you a lot of flexibility, and you keep the control. You keep the sovereignty of your data all over the whole process, from getting the data from various places till the data brings really value to you. And also the EU Data Act is giving us some assurance here, because it tells us whatever SaaS service you are using, whatever IoT device you are using, the data you're generating in there is belonging to the user or to the company creating the data, and not to the one that is providing the service. And it tells you that you must have a way to extract that data and use that data even outside of the service. So even that is preventing vendor login a bit, because you can use the data outside. And what I just said, if you have a holistic view of your data architecture, that is the key for it, and supports you towards that. So we support you in building such data sovereignty through SAP data integration into your open architecture. So we are one component out of that, but you have to take care about the other components and see how you model your data landscape within your company.
Great. Yeah, thanks for touching on these. Also very, very important topics. Yeah. Good. Let's continue. SaaS is another very important topic for us. It actually has been for quite some time now. And we're just at the point where we offer our solutions both as on-premise products, but also as SaaS, with plans to fully launch this coming year in 2026. And with SaaS, security, data handling, performance, these are all key priorities for us. Very important is also that we do not store any SAP customer data. That doesn't take place whether you run it on premises or whether you run our solution in the cloud. It's always a pass-through from the SAP system to one of our target environments, or what we call destinations. We only store administrative and configuration data that is required for the operation of the solution. And with our intelligent solution, we ensure an optimal data flow between the SAP source and the environment where you want to work with the data, and we copy that data once. And maybe as a side comment here, related to SAP's recent announcements around SAP BDC and zero copy. In that model, with BDC, the SAP data is replicated once into the BDC, the Business Data Cloud environment or data sphere. And then external services like Databricks or Snowflake or AWS or Fabric, they can now directly access that data in what SAP calls a zero copy mode. However, when you use the data in that environment, let's say a Databricks query or a Snowflake query, the data still needs to be made available in that environment. And so you still copy it, at least in memory, and you consume resources, of course, and the data has to be there for you to work with it in those environments. And that could be challenging. We believe in some cases. One is the latency. The other one is performance related. How quickly can you really access this data, depending on where these two cloud environments sit? But also related to the cost of the solution. Yeah, in a way, you maintain two environments, and the data still has to be copied once. and then it needs to be replicated again for data access into another system. So we believe it is more cost effective. It comes at less system complexity and very likely a more performant approach to copy the data once into the target, such as Snowflake, Databricks, AWS, or Fabric, where you then can work with the data.
Yeah, so indeed no drawback from us copying it once or SAP copying it once into the BDC solution. That's right. Okay, yeah.
Good. So let's continue on then. We have more on AI and MCP.
Yeah, we have more on AI and
What's in the
MCP.
plans? Yes.
You have seen we get started. We have POCs with customers. We are learning from their requirements on that. You have seen I was interacting with a chatbot that is doing actions within an SAP system. And what is typically the next topic after, oh yeah, this is working, it's the security and the authentication. For sure, you want to get the user sitting in front of the chatbot and acting that on behalf of this user, either data is retrieved out of the SAP system and not something that this user could not see if he would log in. So this need to be respected, but as well, if this user making changes in the system, that it's done on behalf of that user. So we need to authenticate from the beginning of where the interaction starts into the SAP system end to end. And that is one of the big topics that we need to address next year. There are many different environments, many different SSO and other configurations available that we want to support. And we go the route there to support more than what we do today. And also always a question like, hey, what ports do I need to open? How do I access those within my environments? Is this all running locally or not? If I have some of the services be external to others, is there a kind of reverse proxy mode possible so that I do not need to open ports? That is also a capability that we have within our Junior product already available. But it's not yet fully working for this MCP integration mode. This is also something we want to get fixed next year. So there's more to come to really make this productive use and getting it out of beta.
Great. Yeah, it's exciting to see more of that coming this coming year. All right, let's move on. We have, I think, a couple more.
Yeah, again, something that we have a combination of different topics. So CDS views, we said this year it's already really important topic, and it continues to be an important topic. Not only because of clean core, we working on alternatives based on CDS views. To work with the data, to make it easier to work with CDS views, to extracting data out of CDS views. We have other variants available that we are right now investigating to get data to really be in a compliant way, extracting data out of SAP data, not in conflict with ODP Note, for example, and having even more alternatives. That is part of our innovation pipeline. I do not want to talk too many details yet. They will come. We are in preparation for that. And as we mentioned, we invest in our partnerships with AWS, what Christoph said, also with Microsoft. And their marketplaces, for example, it's very common today that you have this as a containerized solution. So we work towards that to have it easier. If we talk about more containerized solution, we also need to modernize our UIs. As you have seen with Junior, what I showed to you, it's already a browser-based UI where you can very easily work with, no need to install any local things on your computer to get access to a UI. So we plan their modernizations to our Windows-based UIs as well. And when we talk more about those modernizations, we may also want to shift, or probably shift is not the right way. We want to enhance our focus on the products more from a technical tooling, a bit more to a business perspective, what we call data products, with the help of the technology from bluetelligence, which Christoph mentioned. They have a few on the SAP data. They can document what is the metadata out of it with help for AI use cases. What is the technical documentation? Lineage, where does the data come from? And if we combine those technologies with our extraction capability today, it means I can integrate my extractions into data catalogs. So I make it easier for a business user to search for, and just searching for a need. He needs financial data to work with. He can search in a data catalog for this kind of data and getting data products suggested, which are part of an extraction. He understands based on the created documentation for it, hey, what is this data about? What is the need, or what kind of problems can I solve with it? How current is this data? Is it updated once a day? Is it updated once a week? What is the purpose of it? I get what is behind this data, and even a combination if it's SAP and non-SAP data. So this is all what allows us with the technology of bluetelligence to enhance together capabilities of both product worlds we have today, and get into new areas with a more business value aspect of it. So very interesting topic and roadmap ahead of us.
Absolutely, yeah, and this could be a big jump forward in terms of how we make data available, to all kinds of users and use cases. And I would maybe add that the best way to keep up with what's developing in these areas in our innovation pipeline around data products, let's say, is to subscribe to our newsletter. We will also have webinars like this throughout next year, where we will update customers on the latest innovations.
Yep.
All right, we have one more exciting topic. Again, something brand new. Michael, you want to tell us a little bit more about the destinations?
Now more on the destination side. We started already with a prototype of Apache Kafka. May we have a few minutes that I can show that as well. So that is a new way of how we extract data or how we integrate SAP data into event-driven architectures where real-time or near real-time is really relevant. But beside Kafka, there might be also others where we want to enhance our destination support. AWS Glue is a great way to get data into the AWS ecosystem, where we think about additional connectivity and integrations. Google BigQuery, the data warehousing of Google, it's possible today, but it's not really the connect, integrate, simplify as with our slogan. So we have improvements here in mind how we could make that much easier to integrate data into such a warehouse. Very similar on Snowflake side also. And then there are other kind of hyperscaler cloud systems coming up like Stackit that also have an object storage and then other data that they can work with. And that is something we take a look at as well and support those. And maybe at that point, let me quickly share the screen. We try to do that real quick. So you see here, Extract Universal. It's a beta, it's a development mode, but we see here if you're a trained user, that we have here already the Kafka connection in. And when I, on that machine, open the browser, you see here a Kafka dashboard, which is of the destination of Kafka, where we had a demo topic where you right now see there are no messages in. But as soon as I start here the extraction and run that, we could see, if I refresh that screen, okay, here are now events coming in. For every entry, probably think about every entry that is out of change data capture in the system of your SAP system. Near real time, you get those events as Kafka events distributed into your event-driven landscape. And it's around 50,000, 15,000 that I exported. So it's a prototype. It's a starting to get this integrated into Kafka environments, where you have the value JSON representation of the content. Sure, in the later product, you can all define, hey, what is the real content as you are used to with any other destination? What is it you're interested in? What kind of schema should be followed to get these events? Typically, there are schema registries in such a Kafka environment that we pick or that you tell us what schema we should pick for, or we distribute here a new schema that then other applications know how we distribute data out of the SAP system. Very similar as the keys here. They are right now just for demo purpose, but they could be more related on the data so that it's really a useful key. But that should just give you the impression about there is work in progress. We will work on this integration. We further do the next milestones for us to have that as a productive destination by 2026.
Great. Thanks, Michael, for that and the demo. More ways to consume and work with SAP data. With that, we'd like to wrap it up by thanking you for your attendance. I have one more slide that I would like to show. Thank you for your interest. We hope we were able to give you a glimpse of what's coming this year in 2026. We're very excited about it. We look forward to working with you. You can always contact us with your questions. We're happy to tell you more about what we're up to, what's coming in our products, and also what's available today. So with that, we wish you all a happy holidays, successful 2026, and we look forward to staying in touch. Thank you.
Yeah, I was looking at the chat, no questions so far. So same for me. Have a good rest of the year. Have a good start into new year, and happy to work with you.
Thank you.